Right, so this week, after numerous requests, we're going to look at de-waxing and de-winterising your motorbike, ready for the up-and-coming motorcycling season. But first of all, I've got a little announcement. It's here. Now, for as long as I can remember, the Haynes manual has been the go-to source of information for any vehicle owner who wants to carry out some or all of his own maintenance. And I've owned a number of these manuals over the years for different vehicles, and I'm pleased to announce that as of this week, or last week it might have been, the Haynes manual for the water-cooled Triumph Twins is now available here in the UK, and it can be ordered directly from Haynes' website. For those of you who don't live in the UK, it can be pre-ordered. Obviously, there are some delays because of the logistics required to actually get copies distributed to other countries. But as I said, you can pre-order it and it will be available to you soon. I have had a quick flick through it. It's the usual Haynes quality information that shows you how to do all your routine maintenance, as well as a complete strip down and rebuild of your bike if you should want to do that for any reason. I think they've timed this very well because some of the early water-cooled twins will now be coming out of warranty, and I would imagine that some owners, probably like myself, would find this information very useful in learning how to do certain things themselves without having to spend a fortune at the dealerships. Now, this manual covers the models, the Street Twin from 2016 to 2017, the Street Cup 2017, the Street Scrambler 2017, the new water-cooled Bonneville T120 2017. It also covers the Triumph T120 2016 to 2017, the Bobber 2017, the Thruxton 2016 to 2017, and the Thruxton R 2016 to 2017. So as I said, it's available in the UK now, and it's available for pre-order elsewhere in the world, and it can be ordered through the Haynes publishing website. Right, so let's get on with it. Now, as I'm sure some of you will remember, last September I produced a video detailing my method and the products that I use for protecting my bike against the ravages of an English winter. It's a method that I've used for decades, and I have to say it has never let me down. But of all the videos that I've ever done, despite the fact it didn't get huge views, it generated more hate mail than any other video that I've ever done, mainly from the ACF 50 Brigade. Now, both at the time and since then, I've had quite a few requests in that people have seen the before video and they would like to see an after video, the results at the end of winter and how well the bike has fared using the wax oil and the double TT to protect the bike. And also, some people were unsure as to how to remove the wax oil come summertime, because like most rust preserving chemicals, it doesn't leave what anyone could describe as an aesthetically pleasing finish on the bike, so you need to remove it in the summertime. Now, as I think my videos bear testament to, I do use the bike throughout winter. This bike has now been through 2 winters. And okay, I've not done an excessive amount of mileage in the last 6 months, but I did work it out that on average I've done about 25 miles a week since treating the bike. Although I have been informed by some viewers who used this method that they've used their bike for work throughout winter, some of them doing 50 miles a day, and that they are very pleased with the results. Now, when I published the winterising video, because of the comments and such like that were coming through, I took the decision that in order to make this as fair and realistic as possible, I wasn't going to give the bike a full clean until spring. I do choose the days when I ride the bike carefully, but having said that, I have been caught in some horrific weather. So the bike hasn't had a full clean, but what I have done, if I've come home and I've been caught in heavy rain, the bike has just had a good hose off with clean water and then dried off with the towel. The only other treatment that the bike has had, and this is mainly due to making it look presentable for filming, is that I have polished the paintwork on the side panels and the tank, etc. And obviously, at least weekly, the double TT has been topped up all around the engine. So to all intents and purposes, this bike hasn't had the full filling since last September. Now, the wax oil itself is pretty hydrophobic stuff, so as well as just shrugging the water off, a lot of the dirt tends to come straight off with that, and most of the dirt that has remained on the wax oil has been rinsed off, although it had got to the point where it was pretty grimy. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly show you my spring cleaning method of getting all the visible wax oil off the bike and getting it cleaned up and fit for summer. And all I use for this is a few workshop wipes, you don't need many, and some common old garden white spirit, the kind of stuff that you use for cleaning paintbrushes, that kind of thing. Most households should have some of that knocking about. If you don't have it, it's dirt cheap. Now obviously chrome plating is very susceptible to corrosion from even the slightest trace of salt that we get on our roads here in the UK. So it was a matter of soaking a couple of squares of the workshop wipes with the white spirit. You don't need a lot, and I'll show you at the end how much I actually used. And just start to gently wipe off that wax oil from your rims and from your spokes. Now with white spirit, the wax oil does come off very easily. Now don't worry about getting any part of the bike when you're cleaning this wax oil off spotlessly clean. It doesn't matter if you leave some smears behind. In fact, in my mind, I prefer to leave some smears behind, and that's part of the magic of wax oil, which I'll show you a bit later on. Just make sure that you've got all the dirt off and any thick deposits of the wax oil. As I say, slight smears are good. Now try not to soak anything too much with the white spirit. You don't want it getting inside any areas where there's grease like bearings, that kind of thing. All you're looking to do is remove the wax oil from the visible areas. So the cloth needs to be well dampened. It doesn't need to be dripping wet with the stuff. Also, in my mind, it's preferential for some of that wax oil to be left in place around the spoke nipples, that kind of thing, because even in summer these areas harbour moisture, and this is where the rust will eventually start to surface on the rims. Now once you've got the rear wheel done, move to the front wheel and repeat the same procedure. Now if you remember, looking back to September, all I actually did was treat the lower half of the frame because I didn't intend to be using the bike for a daily commute. I just wanted to protect the most vulnerable areas that get the worst of the road grime and salt. So once you've got the front wheel sorted out, it's time to start on the frame. Once the cloth has become heavily soiled, change to a fresh one. Just gently work your way around all the visible parts of the frame, the swing arm and the wishbone. I tend to leave the wax oil under the seat if it's in good condition, and on the centre stand, because the centre stand is subject to a lot of stone chipping. And as I've said in the past, wax oil is self-healing, and its self-healing properties are actually enhanced during the summer months when it's warm. Once you've removed all you want to remove, it's time to clean the bike. Now my chain was due for a good clean and re-lubing, so before I got started it made sense to get this messy job out of the way first, because the last thing you want to do is get your wheels cleaned up, then splatter the oil and grime all over them and then have to go back and do it again. I think my chain cleaning brush is about at the end of its days now, but I can't complain, it was only £1.50, so I'll have to get myself a new one sorted out before too long. And for this job I just used my usual muck off chain cleaner. I like this stuff because it's water soluble, which makes general cleanup after you've cleaned your chain very easy. And once I got the chain up to an acceptable level, I gave the chain a good rinsing down with the hose pipe and then doused the whole bike down with the hose pipe. Then using my usual muck off motorcycle cleaner, I went round and liberally sprayed the entire bike. I left it for 5 minutes to do its magic, then rinsed the bike off and then repeated that procedure again. Now you will notice while you're doing this that the water will immediately bead up and run off all the areas that were previously treated with the wax oil. And that's because although you have cleaned the bulk of the wax oil off, it has left a very thin film of it behind, which is exactly what I wanted to achieve. That's why it's important not to scrub every trace of it away. Now I didn't use any form of shampoo on the bike because I just wanted a deep hands-off clean. If there are any areas where the dirt doesn't seem to be shifting, agitate it with your hands in order to get it to move and loosen it up. And once you're satisfied that you've got your bike clean, it's time to go around and dry it all off with a clean towel. Now when you've got your bike dried off, what you will notice is that all the areas where the wax oil had previously been applied will look sort of smeary and hazy. Wax oil, as the name would suggest, contains wax. Now, I don't think it's the high grade carnauba wax that we use in good quality wax polishes, but it is nevertheless very persistent and hydrophobic, and it also contains some rust inhibitors. Now, to make sure that your bike's fully dry, start it up and leave it to run until the fan kicks in, as per the Triumph Handbook's recommendations. Now, while the engine was running, I took the opportunity to use the MO94 to de-water the chain ready for re-lubing. Muck-Off do recommend that this is O-ring safe, so you're not going to cause any damage with it, but what it will do is it will immediately chase out any water. Just wipe off any excess with a cloth, ready to re-lube the chain. Now, while the bike is cooling, avoid any hot areas obviously, but use an old but clean polishing cloth and go around all the areas that you can get access to until the bike's fully cooled and buff up that hazy, smeared wax oil that's been left behind. And I promise you, you will be astounded. It will buff up like one of the highest quality wax polishes you could possibly buy. It leaves behind a fantastic shine, and the remnants of this wax oil will continue to protect your bike for several more weeks before you have to think about actually waxing these parts with a proper wax polish. Now, you can't do that with ACF 50, can you? Now, don't forget to re-lube your chain. I think at this time of the year you're probably safe to go back to a dry lube, depending on how much you're going to be using the bike over the next 2 or 3 weeks. And don't forget to redress your engine with either your double TT, or again, you might be safe to go back to the GT85, which is quite a bit cheaper at this time of the year. Now, all that was left for me to do after this was just an application of my favourite wax polish, the Muck-Off Miracle Shine, just on the tank, the front fender and the side panels, and the bike is more or less ready for the summer. Now, as far as the double TT is concerned on those rather delicate engine casings on the T120, I can safely say that it has done its job. Apart from the odd stone chip, the casings are as good as the day that I bought the bike, and in fact the bike in general has not accumulated any rust during the course of its second winter. They say that the proof of the pudding is in the eating. You take a look at these images and you judge for yourself whether my method works or not. Now, you can't hold back time and make something stay like new forever. But as I think I've proved here, you can slow that aging process down just by being careful and using the right materials and methodology on your bike. And that doesn't mean that you have to throw huge wads of cash at the problem. Now, roughly adding everything up, a tin of this wax oil is round about £10, and that can, if you're treating a bike in the way that I've done this one, I would say last you 3 to 4 years. And don't forget, in the areas where you leave this wax oil in situ, it will continue to protect your bike for years to come. The double TT isn't expensive, and I have seen it for as little as £4 for a can. So I reckon protecting this bike for this previous winter has undoubtedly cost me, I think, maybe £3 or £4. Now, as for removing it and using that white spirit, as you can see, I used virtually none out of this container. I think at a push maybe 50 millilitres and just 6 squares of workshop wipes. And just to put this into perspective, this whole operation from start to finish took less than 2.5 hours, and I was filming it at the same time, which does slow the job down considerably. Now, you stack that up against something like ACF 50, which in my experience doesn't work very well and constantly has to be maintained throughout the winter. To me, it's just common sense. Wax oil and double TT are old products. They've been round for a long time, and they've been round for a long time because they work really well. Right, I hope that you found this video useful and that you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I will be back next Wednesday, and until then, ride carefully and I'll see you soon.